Hi all, welcome to Everything Stitching. In this video, I am going to show you guys how to make a crocheted twisted headband. They are adorable, and especially with this fall weather turning into winter, I think a lot of people are going to end up using this pattern. So let's get started. We're going to use a medium weight yarn for this. I'm using this one. I really like the feel of this. So make sure when you're making a headband or a beanie that you're going to choose a yarn that you like the feel of it, right? Because it's going to be against your head. So find the one you like. This one I love. It's super soft and hopefully not too itchy once it's on. Okay, so it's a medium weight, and then I'm going to be using a 6mm hook for this particular pattern. And I think that's all. Let's see. Of course, you're going to need scissors and a tapestry needle at the end, but that's about it. Okay, so we're going to get started by making our slip knot. And then we are going to chain 67 or whatever size you need for your headband, right? Whether it's for your head or you're making it for, I don't know, your daughter, your niece, your friend, neighbor, whatever. So you're basically going to chain the size that you need for the head that you're making it for. And you're going to do it in multiples of 2 and then just plus 1, right? So the multiple of 2 for this one, you know, I would be doing 66, but I'm going to add 1. So basically what I'm doing here is just making a really long chain. And what's really nice is if you're making it for yourself or someone that you can have access to their head very easily, you're just going to chain, like for instance, I'm going to chain 67 and then I'm going to put it around my head to make sure that the size is good, right? Now for this particular pattern, the stitching that we're going to be using does kind of shrink your project a bit. Let's say if we start out, I'm just going to use 20 inches for instance, okay? If we start out 20-inch long chain, by the time we're done, we're going to lose about an inch. So if your head circumference is 20, then don't make your chain 20 inches because it's going to end up finishing at 19 inches. So if your head circumference is 20, then make sure that you're chaining to 21 inches. So we're more worried about how big we're making it versus how many chains, right? But just make sure that whatever size you need to make it, that you're doing multiples of 2 plus 1, okay? All right, so I'm just going to continue to do this until I get to the size that I need. And then once I chain that, then we're going to actually work on the gorgeous pattern. Okay, so I chained the correct amount that I needed. Now I crochet really tight. So I actually had to chain 87 because like I said, I crochet super tight. So just so you're kind of aware, like I said in the beginning, the chain number is not important as much as the size that you need, right? So go off of that and then just make sure it's in a multiple of 2 plus 1, okay? Okay, so I'm at 87. Now, basically, once we get started on this, it's gonna be the same stitch the whole entire time. Now, because we're working in a chain, I like to actually crochet into that that back loop of the chain. It just gives a much nicer finished edge versus going into the chain right here. Going into the chain right here is way easier, but it doesn't look as nice after. So going in this back loop looks way nicer. If you hear meowing in the background, we all know who that is. Whenever I start talking, he's got to talk. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do our half double crochet into the second chain from our hook, okay? So we've got first chain, second chain. So we're gonna yarn over. Now this first row, I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna be a pain in the butt, right? because we're working in a chain. Okay, so now I like, you know what? I don't like this hook for working in a chain. Let me switch out to my other hook. Give me a moment. Okay, so I'm yarning over, and then I'm going to insert my hook into the back loop of my chain, okay? And we're going to do a half double crochet. So we're going to yarn back over, pull up. We're going to have 3 on our hook. We're going to yarn over, and then we're going to pull through all 3, okay? So that's how we start the first part of this row. Now what we're going to do is we're going to work on a new stitch, which is really fun, and it's called the modified half double crochet and then stitch 3 together. Okay, so on a pattern it's going to be abbreviated as MHDC, the number 3, and then TOG. Okay, so I'm going to teach you guys how to do that right now. It sounds a lot more confusing than it actually is. Okay, so basically to do it, we're going to start with another half double crochet, and again we're doing it into our back loop. And then once we finish this first row, it's going to be a lot easier, because like I said, we're working on the chain, and when we work in the chain, it's a pain in the butt. Okay, so we go ahead and do our half double crochet, right? Then we yarn over and pull through. Okay, so we've done a half double crochet. Now, here's how we continue with the modified stitch. Okay, so we're gonna yarn over and we're gonna insert our hook into that same stitch that we were just working in. So we're gonna yarn over and put your hook into that same stitch, and then we're gonna pull up a loop. So now we have 3 on our hook again. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to insert our hook into the next stitch from where we're working. Don't yarn over, just insert your hook, and remember, look for the back loop. Okay, so that's this one for us right now. Okay, and then we're going to yarn over and pull up. Okay, so now we're going to actually have 4 on our hook. Now we're going to do the exact same thing into the next one again, and this is going to be the back loop. Okay. Oh, I told you this first row is a pain. Once we get going though, the next row is amazing. Okay, so then we yarned over, pulled through, we're gonna have 5. Now to finish it off, we yarn over and then we pull through all 5 stitches that were on our hook, or not all 5 stitches, I'm sorry, all 5 loops, and then we chain 1. Okay, so modified half double crochet 3 together means you do a half double crochet, and then the 3 together means the next 3 stitches you're stitching them together, right, which we just did, and then we chain 1. So like I said, it's really not that difficult. The most difficult part of it is working in this chain. That's what the most difficult part is. So we're gonna do that the entire way back down the chain, and then when we get to the end of the chain, your last stitch is actually going to be a half double crochet in the last stitch, and then we're going to turn our work and we're going to do that exact same thing back and forth until we get to what we need. Okay, so I'm going to walk you guys through it one more time, and then I'm going to work off camera to finish it up, and then when we're working on that second row, I'm going to show you again so that way you can see how to do when you're not working in the chain. Okay, so we're going to yarn over because we're going to do a half double crochet into the back loop, pull through. You're going to have 3 on your hook because it's a half double crochet, yarn over, pull through all 3 because you want to finish your half double crochet, and then we're going to stitch 3 together. Okay, So you're gonna put your hook in the next one, pull up, then you're gonna do it again. And we're still working in that back loop. Pull up again, and then one more time in the back loop only. So, like, if you wanted to make this pattern a tiny bit easier than what I'm showing you, then don't work in the back loop. Go ahead and just work in the regular chain, right? To make it a tiny bit easier. But if you work in the back loop, you're gonna have a really nice ending right here. Okay, so you're gonna stitch together until you have 5 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 5, and then chain 1 to close it. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna do all the way back down. And then when I get to the end, I'm gonna show you guys how we turn our work and start on the second row. Okay, so we finished the first row. Okay, and I made it to the end. I chained 1, and I'm going to turn my work just like we do with all of our crochet work, right? And then we're going to skip the first stitch, and then we're going to do a half double crochet into the next one. And then we're going to continue on with our pattern of doing the modified half double crochet and then 3 stitches together. Okay, so let's go ahead and work on that. So we're going to yarn over, put our hook inside the next stitch. We're going to do a half double crochet. Okay, then we're going to yarn over, and then we're going to put our hook in the next stitch, right? And then we're going to put our hook in the next stitch again. Now you're going to have 4, and then put your hook in the last stitch so that way you have 5. Then you yarn over and pull through all 5, and then you chain 1 to close it. And there you go. So here we go. We're going to do our half double crochet. Oops, I pulled up too much yarn. And finish our half double crochet. Then we're going to yarn over, put our hook into the next stitch. It's a little tight there. Pull up, you're going to have 3 on your hook. Put it in the next stitch again. Pull up, you're going to have 4. And then the last one where you pull up, and now you have 5. Then you yarn over and pull through all 5, chain 1 to close your stitch, and just keep working this all the way down. And basically what you're going to do is this exact same thing the entire time, okay? So you're going to end it with a half double crochet, you're going to chain 1, turn your work, and then start with a half double crochet, and then the rest of it is the modified half double crochet with the 3 stitches together, chaining 1 to close it, and so on and so forth, right? So the exact same pattern down the row, okay? Every single row. So you're going to do a total of 12 rows. And then when you get to the end of the 12 rows, we're going to fasten off, and we're going to leave a big long tail in order to sew it all together. Okay, so of course we'll meet back at that time, because that's when it can get tricky, because we're also, not only are we sewing it together, we are also doing the twisted version of this headband as well. So stay tuned. Work on all your rows. Remember, we're going to do 12 rows total, and then we're going to meet back here and work on twisting our headband and sewing it together. I'll see you guys shortly. Okay, so I finished all of my rows, and I've got it to the depth that I want it for my head. If you want to go more for yours, then go for it. I went about 3 inches. I don't have the biggest head, and I think if I go any further, it's going to really start to cover more than I want since it's just a headband versus like a beanie. Okay, so now what you're gonna do is you tie off your ends once you've gotten to your last one and leave a really long tail for sewing in. Now what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna be using our tapestry needle to finish it off. So you wanna find the right side of your headband, and for me that's this side. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna fold it in half with right sides together, okay? Then you don't want to fold it like perfectly in half. You wanna actually fold it so it's half and half. Does that make sense? The reason why is because this is how we're gonna make the twist. Okay, so if our band is 3 inches, we wanna make sure that we line up the top one at 1.5 inches, which is where I actually had it, interestingly enough. Usually I have to measure because my husband always tells me I'm cockeyed, but anyways, I eyeballed it and it worked. So you're gonna layer it good sides together halfway, okay? Then get this side of it and you're going to fold it, okay? And then you're gonna get it, this one, and fold it this way. And what we're gonna do here is we're gonna do a really nice job of lining up all of our stitches. And what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna stitch it like this. And then when we turn it right side out, it's gonna give you that twist that you're looking for. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is make sure that it's all lined up perfectly. And let me grab a few clips so I can make sure it doesn't move. I can't clip through all of them. I'm gonna leave it like that for a second, just so that I can thread my tapestry needle. Okay, so I got it threaded. So like I said, when we're sewing, we're gonna be catching the stitches on all the layers. So make sure that you're going through and that you've caught a layer or you've caught a stitch for each of the layers, okay? And then you're gonna go back, make sure that you're catching every single layer. And then you're just gonna hand sew this back and forth until it's nice and strong and secure all the way back, excuse me, to the other end. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do it one more time on this corner. I just want to make sure that we're really getting through. Now I'm going to actually start to work this way. Now that I know that everything was caught going that way. So sometimes, because we're working with so many layers, sometimes it is good to kind of spread it apart and make sure that you're catching everything. So I got these two. I want to make sure I get this one and this one. And I'm just going to keep on going like this. And now, oh, see, like this middle one is starting to fall. So I need to make sure I pull that up there so I can grab it on the way back. Yep. So just carefully make sure that you're capturing every single one. It really doesn't take too much time to make this twisted section of it. And what's pretty funny is like when you have it right sides together and you fold it in this manner, you wouldn't think that it's going to make it like this twisted formation, but it does, and it's really nice. And now that I've made it to the end, I knotted it, and I'm going to leave my tail on right now, because what I want to do right now before I like finish it is I want to turn it so it's right side out, and I want to make sure that it's looking how I want it to look. Okay, I want to make sure that I did not miss any really important spots. Okay, and I didn't, thankfully. But that's how you get that twisted look. It's really actually a lot easier than you would think when you see it. So now that we know that we got everything, now I can go back and actually finish it properly now. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I fasten off so it doesn't come apart. And then I'm going to weave it in and out of my stitches before I cut it. Just a quick little weaving back and forth. And then clip it, turn it right side out, and here we are. We made it. So that's how you make a twisted headband. I hope you guys enjoyed making this. I have a lot more videos to come. I'm making a sweater. I want to make a shawl. With this, you know, this fall and winter time, it's making me want to make a lot of like really warm, cozy things. So that's what I have planned. And maybe we'll even make an Afghan or two. That will be really fun. So stay tuned for some really fun videos. And in between those long videos of how-tos, I'll even show you guys some more granny squares and new stitches and things like that. And possibly even sprinkling in some more sewing projects as well, and not just crochet. Anyways, thanks for staying tuned and watching all these videos. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe because we have many more to come. Thanks again. I'll see you guys next time.